2, 3. We always do this. 1, 2, 3. Boom. All right. Welcome to the Industry AF podcast. We got our guest. Introduce yourself, my friend.
Dave Brainard, producer, songwriter. Used to be a whiskey drinker, not so much nowadays.
Oh, yeah?
More red wine.
Okay, hell yeah.
But congrats on your company. That's awesome.
Thanks, man. Yeah.
Arliss has filled me in over the years. So
yeah, man, Arliss is buddy, man. I met Arliss 2019 through Luke Pierce, Works Entertainment, and we co-founded all together the Charleston Songwriters Fest, same model as the St. Augustine.
Okay.
Haven't done it since, but it was cool, man. Charleston never saw that before. So people in town were like, wait, what? Like a country songwriter thing? And it was awesome. I will tell you this, though. I since I was a local guy, I was the one that just ran around, did everything, and knew all the venues. I couldn't move for 2 days after that. Not because I was hungover, because I was just so exhausted. I was like, man, this was crazy, dude. But Arliss, all the same guys, like, you know what I mean, from St. Augustine.
That's how we met, too. Was that after the first year of St. Augustine, I think? Arliss was like, hey, my buddy Tyler gets together. Yeah, it was a while ago. It was pre-COVID.
Yeah, and then you and I met at Lakeside.
Mm-hmm.
What was it called? What was it called before?
Edgefield.
Remember that?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Crazy. That was a good hang.
Well, dude, so are you from Nashville? Tell us how you got to Nashville.
Well, let's see. I've been here for 2000 is easy math, so about 26 years now.
Wow.
I got here. It's funny. We were at the Titans game yesterday, and
so was I.
I was waiting tables at Applebee's, and it was that season. I saw the Music City Miracle live, which is cool, right?
Yeah.
And then I was waiting tables at Applebee's, and I remember I was on break, and I looked up, and it was the play where he reaches for the 1 yard short of the end zone, and I'm like, oh, wow, that's cool. It's like, we lost. We'll get them next year, right? That was 26 years ago, so I've been here. I got here the year they almost won, and they haven't been 1 yard short of it since.
Yeah.
So
that's cool. Where are you from then?
Nebraska by way of Air Force.
Okay.
So I'm a kind of a military brat, but Nebraska was always kind of where...
You were never in the military?
I was, actually.
Oh, wow.
So my dad was Air Force. My mother was Korean. We lived in Korea.
Wow.
Nebraska, Korea, Nebraska, Germany, Nebraska. And so it was always...
There a big Air Force base there?
Yeah, off at Air Force Base. And my dad was a meteorologist, so that's where his needs were between deployments was SAC at the time. So that's just a whole,
Always back to Nebraska.
Always back to Nebraska. So, that's who I root for is Big Red and Nebraska football fan. We've been rebuilding for as long as I've been in Nashville. Yeah. So, and it's really funny. Jenny Tolman is my wife. She's a country artist, and we'll talk more about her. But the first year we got together, football season was coming on, and I remember, we were in this new relationship, and she doesn't really watch sports at the time and all this stuff. And I was, like, it's coming on, like football season. So 2 weeks out, I tell her, hey, whatever we got to do is more important than football. But just so you know, I'm a big football fan, and if we don't do anything on Saturdays, I'd love to just sit down and watch a few games and stuff like that. Sure. I'm like, okay, seed was planted. I'm like, we go on, no words, and all of a sudden game day comes on, right? It's like, oh, here we are. And I go in, I go take a shower, and I come out not knowing what the day is going to be like. And she had ordered a bunch of Husker gear, like shirts and hats, and said, oh, man, happy game day, right? It was the coolest day ever, right?
That is cool.
And so we just kind of sat and like watched football, and she was super smart. She just picked up on all the rules and everything pretty quick. And by game 5, she was hooked. She had more anxiety than me over she's like, that was pass interference. I'm yes. I'm not sure if it was. Like, it was. Good call, babe. That's weird. Like that was holding. Did you see the holding on the outside?
I thought it was my thing.
No, it was awesome. And so, but that year, Nebraska went 7-0. It was Mike Riley, I believe, and she was like, "This is amazing." Yeah. So she kind of got hooked, and then we got hit by the Wisconsin Badgers train, and then the season fell apart. And to her credit, she's still a fan. But I feel bad because I dragged her into this losing football team.
Yeah.
I did the
she
same
still
thing.
roots Big Red, though. It's awesome.
Yeah. My wife's a Cowboys fan now, sadly. My parents suckered me into being a Cowboys fan, and I did it to her.
I was a Cowboys fan growing up. Yeah.
She found out that
America's team.
The raccoon is the Titans mascot, and so now she's thinking of being a Titans fan. I'm like, that's maybe more heartbreak than being a Cowboys fan.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah. Yeah. We were at a Titans game yesterday.
Cool.
And it was the Patriots.
Yeah.
And the Patriots fans were louder than the
There was more
Titans fans.
Yeah.
Were you there?
Yeah. I have a friend with season tickets.
So every time there was a play, when you're trying to get acclimated to the game, the crowd would go wild. You're like, oh, cool, did we score? Like, no, they scored. Like,
I went to go get a hot dog and I heard a bunch of cheers. I'm like, yeah, nice. And then I come back out. I'm like, oh, that's a Patriots touch. That was the interception.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, I was
okay,
like,
I
what's
heard that.
going on?
When are they gonna be done with that new stadium?
I think 2 years. A
2
year and a
years?
half, 2 years.
I still have not been to a Titans game.
They're fun.
Yeah.
I thought they had a chance yesterday. That first quarter and a half.
Yeah.
Wow. But no, I think it's a year and a half. It looks really cool.
It's going to be the largest rooftop bar I think in the country, is what I heard.
That's every bar. That's
Rooftop
every
bar,
bar
wow.
on Broadway says they're the
Yeah,
largest
yeah.
rooftop bar. Now we got the stadium going up. Trying
Yeah,
to.
that Post Malone thing looked nuts. I didn't go near that.
Yeah,
Did you guys go near that?
I saw the pictures.
It looked terrifying.
Yeah.
People said you couldn't move. I'm like, that's just like, claustrophobia right there.
Good for Post.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so then you were serving at Applebee's. How'd you get into music?
Oh, I came to town to do music. If you rewind before I moved to Nashville, I was in the Air Force band. So I was just a long-haired rocker.
What were you playing in
about
the Air Force
5-6 years before that, and I was teaching guitar. And a guy, Jimmy Weber, who became a good friend of mine, played for the Air Force, and he's like, "Hey, you want to audition and all this stuff?" And I was like, "Yeah, let's try it out." I was in college for 1 year, and in Omaha, University of Nebraska at Omaha. And everything seemed to be ushering towards education. And I was just like, I don't really want to be a music education. So I saw that opportunity and I took it and joined the Air Force, cut my hair. Guitar.
Mm-hmm. Do you know Russ King?
Nah.
He plays keys with us. He was in the Air Force band.
Okay,
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
How old is he?
Actually, he won't tell me how old he is. Every time I bring up, I'm not telling you. I'm assuming he's like in his 40s.
Okay.
But he's keys. Amazing.
Shout out, Ross.
Yeah, shout out, Russ. Sorry, dude. Cheers. So
He's 23.
Yeah, he's 23 years old. He played with a lot of. I think he played with Prince at one point. He's just one of those virtuosos. He's got 3 keyboards on stage.
Yeah, cool.
He rips. But yeah, so then you got into guitar, and then how long were you doing that?
I was one enlistment and then an extension because at the time they wouldn't allow people to get in with a drug history.
Sure.
And so it was very difficult to replace a guitar player in the Air Force. And find that meet that criteria,
That's
right?
funny, man.
So I 5.5 years. I was there for just
Cool.
one enlistment.
Were you all over the country or all over the world? I mean,
It was in between the first Gulf War and the no, it was first Gulf War and the second Gulf War. So it was peacetime.
Okay.
So we never did overseas or anything like that. But
Okay.
over the country, we did a lot of
sure.
events and this gets kind of inside baseball, but we were ACC Combat Command 55th Wing, and so we serviced a lot of that, like Barksdale, Rapid City, March Air Force Base. There's a lot of bases that were in that wing that we went and serviced things
Nice,
for.
man.
So,
and then why Nashville? You just always kind of loved it, or
well, I always wrote, and then I was in the Air Force. I actually wasn't into country music. I was more into Beatles and jazz and all that stuff, and then I got put in the country ensemble, which is a top 40 country band, and
cool.
just started having to kind of learn that stuff, and obviously fell in love with it. It was 90s country.
Yeah.
I'm learning Brent Mason guitar parts and everything, and I'm like, this is really cool, and I kind of fell in love with it. And then a friend of mine, Tim Beasy, was like, hey, you want to come over and we'll write some songs, And so I went over to Tim's, and he became kind of a mentor and a friend, and he was really into the craft of writing and all that stuff. And I feel like I got a really good kind of, just a start on like song form and all that stuff. And so we'd write, like he had a photography business, and I'd go over there at the end of the night, and he was just one of these hard workers that he'd write. Even if he'd be laying down with his feet in Epsom salt, and oh man, so my knees are killing me. So hey, what about this for?
Yeah,
that's cool.
And he just a great thing. And his dream was kind of Nashville based. And at some point, I was like, I think that's something I can do. It's like I want to do that. So I kind of caught his dream, and kind of took the torch on our behalf. And I said, I'm going to go to Nashville and do the songwriting thing. And so I got out. I had a choice: either get re-upped in the military and go get stationed in Hawaii,
That'd be cool.
or get out and go to Nashville. And it was
Tough
like,
choice.
Yeah.
yeah, I got to go. I got to do this Nashville thing.
So what year did you land here then?
Late '99
Cool.
was right before the Titans, that last Titans.
Yeah,
game.
yeah.
So
I mean, so you've seen this town change a million times then.
yeah, I feel like I caught the kind of the tail end of the old Music Row, and then was here, caught kind of the upgrade, the studio business turning into,
Sure.
because that's a whole other part of it. I had a successful studio at the tail end of that, and then I saw the track guys come in, and I saw this. Now we're seeing this new Nashville. It's
wild.
what it is. We can get into that, but at the time, '99 was there was still Music Row. I came into town. I just wanted to be a writer. I wanted to be a prolific writer, and I had a VS880. Remember those? The shift commands and all that stuff. So I came to town with the VS880, and just waited tables. And I'd go to the Broken Spoke and meet people. And
Where was the Broken Spoke?
Trinity Lane and 65-ish.
Do you know what that is?
Yeah.
Is it still there?
Yeah, it's kind of this is really kind of historical kind of moment. And,
Sure.
Tony Lane was playing, and Anthony Smith, Chris Wallen, and Reese Wilson. There's all this cast of characters that were kind of formative and what I thought was great songwriting.
Cool.
And
Did you keep playing at all? Like, were you playing any bands or?
Not really. When I left the Air Force, I really just kind of let my chops go. I mean, I went from practicing and doing jazz, chordal stuff, and soloing to just really focusing on writing. And
Sure.
and so as I wrote, it's one of those things when you have a studio.
Yeah.
Sort of like, hey, can we get a recording of this? So blessing and a curse, right? So
Sure.
I wanted to write, but at the same time, every time I wrote, it's sort of like I was spending days recording something. And at the time, they were pretty crappy, me beating on a couch cushion to get a kick drum sound. And you couldn't quantize, so you had to create a loop.
1,000 times,
hitting the guitar to get a snare. And I'd do these, these little charmingly cheesy demos that seemed to catch on. And that actually turned into like a little business. So on the side, when I got Pro Tools, I was still writing at the time. My first deal was pretty quick. After a couple of years, I wrote for Tom Schuyler at Balmer. I had a Neil McCoy single,
Cool.
pretty quick. I had a Tebe Otto was on BNA. I had a single coming out on him.
Cool.
I ended up doing radio tour with Tebe and traveling the country and getting paid really well to be on radio tour. And so it happened all pretty quick, but at the same time, I was developing this little studio business. People would call me and, hey, can I get this demo done on this? And, before you know what I was doing, I did a couple things for Craig Wiseman, Anthony Smith. And
That's awesome.
so the whatever group I was in, I just kind of connected me to enough people that, I got called to do radio tour for artists as they were getting deals and doing demos. And it was like this, I was in the middle of this really great group of writers. Chris Tompkins, Arliss, was in that group. I met him at ASCAP. And Chris Estes.
Back then it was called EMI, right? It was publishing group.
EMI was there.
Yeah, right.
And that's actually where I wrote my Neil McCoy cut, was at the old EMI building. So yeah, it was really interesting. But I just remember I did Jamey Johnson's first record on Digio One Pro Tools.
The Arliss connection happens because of that? Or?
No. Arliss met Jamey separately from me.
Okay.
Small
world.
It was Mike Lunabis. Yeah, I was doing demos for him, and one day, out of my condo in Antioch, and one day, hey, I got this friend, Jamey comes in all redneck, and I'm like, hey, man, I just want to record some songs or whatever, So I did this one song for him, and I forget which one it was, and then Jamey was like, I want you to, record my record, I'm like, I'm just a nobody in a spare bedroom, right? And I end up doing that record. And
where'd you do the record at?
In that spare bedroom. I programmed drums too.
That's insane. That's cool.
It was interesting because I was programming not based off of MIDI. I was dragging samples and clip gaining to get
some dynamics in there.
Yeah, it was a whole nother. But I studied drummers though. I'd go out to a blues bar on Bourbon Street on Printers Alley,
just watch.
And I'd watch the blues drummer, and I'm like, what can you do with your hands and everything? And I knew enough basics because I worked with drummers and everything. So I'd just go emulate kind of that. It was all clip gain.
That is so cool.
Samples in at the time.
That is so cool.
I still do a lot of that. It's just samples and trying to.
It's
I think some of the drums.
Easiest way to go, right?
Yeah.
That's I don't think I've ever. So I used to run I helped manage it for like 8 years, a Shinedown studio. They're out of Charleston. And the one thing that I regret is I never paid attention to what the hell they were doing. Like
Neither do they.
all the Pro Tool stuff. I was just booking bands. And I should have been, I was sitting there all the time, but I should have been like, hey, what are you doing? So I don't know any of that stuff.
I feel like half the time I'm not paying attention. I'm like, this will work. Let's see if that works.
I just know Melodime. They used to call it the butter knife, because you're like moving, the vocals up and down. But anyway, I'm just saying that stuff. I'm just saying that stuff is not. It's not my world, So that's awesome. I never heard that. So you're like clip gaining just to kind of make some dynamics and
and it kind of got realistic. And the person that inspired that really was Bobby Terry. At the time, I was in that group when Anthony Smith was got signed to Mercury, and Bobby was doing these great productions. He played everything from the piano and steel and everything. Right, they were great, and he was really popping. He signed to Elmo Irving at the time, and he was cool enough. I mean, I was just kind of like the little buddy, sort of like I'd go hang out, and Bobby'd be in his chair smoking cigarettes and doing the stuff, and he's like, "Hey, let me show you something on Pro Tools." And because I was thinking about getting a 24-track version of the VS880, so it would have been Roland VS2480 or something like that. And Bobby's like, man, you ought to check out Pro Tools. They just came out with the Digio 1. And he'd show me like all the moves and everything. I'm like, wow, that's way cooler than Shift Commands.
Do everything, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So
killer.
Bobby got me onto there, and his format of making records is kind of formatted what I thought making records was,
Sure.
Because I came up through that Pro Tools world. I wasn't a console guy with tape. I was like just digital recording. So
Sure.
Bobby Terry's a big, factor in kind of that. So when I get into Jamey's record, it was all programmed drums, and but that record, it was really crazy. I was nobody. I was just still waiting tables, I think, and then I remember just people would come up and say, "Man, that Jamey Johnson record's so cool," and it got him. Fitzgerald Hartley got interested on that project. And actually, this is a fascinating thing. I remember I was just too young and stupid to really know any difference, but I had a meeting with Buddy Cannon and Nora Wilson, and I'm like, oh, cool, yeah. I'll go in there and sit down on their couch, like this, and they're going, we love this record you did on Jamey. We think it needs some things. We need to enhance it in certain places, and we'd love to work on it, and would you take like a point and a half to be co-producer on this project?
What'd you say? What'd you say?
I was like, sure, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
However many points you want to give me.
So,
yeah.
I just had no idea. I'm like, oh, cool, because it was kind of par for the course at the time, because you're just working with people, and you just don't know the difference.
Totally.
Even working on the Jamey thing,
well,
I mean.
How old do you think you were when you did that?
Probably like 24,
Yeah, so
25.
I mean, dude, you were so like young. You know what I mean?
Didn't know the difference.
Yeah.
Even when Jamey sang on that, it's sort of like, yeah, he's a great singer, but you're in Nashville and you're kind of going, everybody's a great singer. You know?
Yeah, totally.
I mean, as you do it, you start to realize that it's like, oh, wow, this is special. And but it was just really funny. It was par for the course. So Fitzgerald Hartley, they shopped that project. And like I said, to me, I'm just kind of like the guy in the bedroom. I just have no idea, I think I got paid like $600 a track on that. I went to the lawyer's offices and I was sort of like, hey, yeah, fine.
What a good
happy.
day that
This is
was,
awesome.
though.
Yeah,
I'm rich.
Yeah.
So anyway, they shopped it, and Fitzhart didn't get any action with it.
Sure.
And then eventually, I mean, it wasn't even like any ill will or malice, but eventually Jamey and Buddy really kind of forged a relationship, and Buddy kind of was his guy.
Sure.
But I was still kind of at the table. Jamey would come and
what kind of
with me.
brought you to meet some new people you didn't know at 24?
Yeah, and just didn't really know the difference.
Sure.
I knew who they were, but it just seemed like I was in a place where, of course, I'm meeting these people. Sort of like I'm writing at this company, and
totally.
Not like this, but it's just like. Cool. Yeah, just got to keep on working.
Yep.
And the other part of that, too, is having the military background. I feel like I just had a very structural mindset in terms of like, oh, that's a colonel. Buddy Cannon's a colonel.
Yeah.
Joe Galani's a general. Mm-hmm. I wasn't buddies with people. I was just kind of like earning my pay, my stripes as I kind of worked hard through the music business.
Just like keeping your blinders on and working,
Yeah, just my pay grade. I just get paid to do this, and
Well, then, so after 24, that Jamey Johnson, then what did you kind of always stick into? You kind of lean more in the studio stuff, or
I was still waiting tables at Bailey's, and then it was really. I remember I had a chance to make a leap to do demos full time because I had enough work. I could raise my rates maybe a little bit, but I was just kind of broke. And I remember a friend of mine, a really good friend of mine, Kenny Peltier. I met him for the first time. He was visiting, and we're hanging out. And I said, "I'm just so close to doing this, but whatever." So he leaves, and he left me a $400 check just as a friend, right?
Wow.
And I'm like, "What's this for?" He goes, "Man, just hold you over until you can make this happen." So I cashed it. I paid the bills, and that was the check that allowed me to just say, "I'm done waiting tables. I'm gonna build up this demo thing." And around then, I got my publishing deal too. Probably months after that, and the radio tour stuff came. And
which pub company?
It was Balmer Chorus. Mm-hmm. So it was Anne Murray's company. Mm-hmm. Tom Schuyler signed me based on the recommendation of Scott Gunter at Almo Irving. So you see, like, Almo Irving's kind of a big part of the circle I was orbiting. And Scott, Tom wrote for Scott at Almo, Anthony Smith, Greg Becker, a bunch of writers that I was starting to write with because of Scott Gunter.
Cool.
The way I met Scott Gunter was through Tammy Brown, who was A&R at Sony at the time, and she was working with a girl that I was writing with, Gina West, and Tammy's the one that said, "Hey, you got something here. Mind if I call a few people on your behalf?"
Sweet.
So Tammy called Scott. Scott took me in, kind of raked me over the coals. He was a hard song guy, but like really well known for developing writers. And And then when Tom started Balmer, not started, but they asked him to run Balmer. Scott recommended me, so Tom signed me based off of Scott's recommendation. So
that's killer.
Yeah, this is why Scott is such a friend and a mentor, but I always kind of attribute a lot of that, whatever branch of success I had starts kind of at that branch there with Scott. And so wrote for Balmer, was writing a bunch, got a few cuts. I mean, I got like the Neil McCoy single, which went up and it kind of died pretty quick, but it was still a single. Ricochet cut, like I said, Tebe. And then it became kind of a series of cuts that I got that ended artist careers. And I think a few people relate to that, but it seems like at that point I would get cuts, like Emerson Drive cut a song, and then they lost their deal. Tebe cut a song, lost his deal, and I had about 4 or 5 of those.
To get you out of town.
It was kind of this weird PTSD thing. I still feel like maybe it keeps me from getting cuts. Yeah, that's funny, man. I mean, that's a wild thing I never heard anyone kind of mention that. It's like I had a whole bunch of cuts and they were going up, and then that's interesting. Yeah, it is. The first Neil McCoy single happened. It was like 17 ads. I remember this because I was like looking at houses. And I'm like, oh, cool. This is easy. This is 2.5 years into my Nashville time. I had a single on the radio, so that could be misleading. Well,
I think a lot of because you're obviously you're not like the artist. You're an artist, but you know what I mean. You're cutting songs for people, and I always hear the artist side of the what's the term thing. Imposter syndrome, and so I'm just saying you talking about that, like having all the success. No, that one didn't stick. I've never heard of like a songwriter dealing with that.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean?
It's pretty common. Yeah, I feel like there's we commiserate with songwriters all the time. It happens a lot. And so that single, 17 ads, 7 ads, and I think the next week it was 0 ads, and some friend of mine from the label was like, "Yeah, man, they just fired the whole promotion staff." Oh no! I'm like, "Oh man, what's crazy. That mean?"
Yeah, was that me or was that
good? I'm like, okay, well, crap. So much for that house and
back to the apartment,
3 acres.
Back to the apartment for me.
Well, a lot of times people don't realize that my guys Finnegan Bell. I don't know if you met those guys, really good buddies of mine, and they were signed to some big one years ago, and it was like a Christian subsidiary under Sony or something, and then their guy saying like talking about promotion getting fired, their guy got fired, so no one cared about him, and all their money went to Jars of Clay, and then Jars of Clay became Jars of Clay.
Wow.
And then they were called Siler's Bald back then, and then they're like, oh shoot, what does that mean? And then their song didn't go #1, and they got dropped and it was over, so I think I think people think when you get signed, oh, that's it, Well, it's like a company. I raised a whole bunch of money. We did it. No, you can mismanage it, and it can all go to shit. So I think the real work starts once that happens.
And it's funny looking back. Like we've been in this business a while. It's like you can't go to your younger self and tell you how to work all that, you know.
Sure.
I wish I
and
could.
the younger artists don't really listen to you when you go like, I've been through all
man.
this, you know.
That really
I'm not
aggravates
bitter.
me.
I'm just like, is this just kind of the way it
It
works?
aggravates when you're trying to give something like, oh no, you're like, okay, I was just caring, but never mind, you know.
Yeah.
So,
It's a cycle.
but you have to learn for yourself. You know what I mean? That's the best way, you know.
Yeah, like one of the things I learned, and this is moving way fast forward, but looking back now, when I work with artists, I understand kind of the business. It's a stock market, right? Like your stock is up and down, and you're going up in value, and you got to like take your profits, you know?
Sure.
I see it that way now, but at the time, like when I was doing some things like the Jared or the Brandy Clark stuff, and the stock was really, you know, or like Buddy Cannon, or you know, when your stock is kind of going, like when you're young and stupid, and you're too idealistic, and you're about the creativity, and you think you just work, and the world's going to take it in.
Sure.
You don't realize it is a stock market, and you know, it's like you got to have meetings set up when you're peaking, when your stock is peaking.
Yep.
You have to go like, all right, well, let me talk to the investors at this point, because it changes your valuation, right?
You got to straight.
Where you're at.
When it's high, you got to get working.
And your time is so important in those moments too. Like that's when you need to be doing your most work when you're when you're in demand, I guess.
Yeah, it's someone we were talking about the other day. It was like just a simple conversation of like you're in trouble when everyone around you're great, man, you're awesome, you're killing it. And like then you could start thinking, well, I'm amazing. Everything I touch turns into gold, you know. And you got to really not always think like that. Like, hey, when I'm working, I'm gonna work my ass off. Let's see how far this one goes, and just knowing not every time's gonna work out, you know. And that's a good thing though. There's so much music now. There's so many artists now. It's actually kind of daunting. I used to kind of feel like I knew all the music. Now people mention artist name, I'm like, who the hell's that? You know?
Yeah.
You know, I'm just getting older. I don't know, but you know what I mean. But like TikTok is still a weird thing for me. You know, that's just not my thing. You know. But we were talking earlier, TikTok stars too. A lot of times, do you know Jeff Hill? He's an agent guy.
Oh yeah. With like 5 or 6 kids.
He's got like 8 kids.
Oh, 8 kids.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
But he
real sweet.
Awesome man. He Chapel Heart. That was his thing. I think they broke up, but
I saw that.
irregardless. But he was talking about, and I was like, man, that makes a lot of sense, man. Where he's submitting people for like fair tours, like straight up country bands doing that fair tour thing, like that movie, That Thing You Do or whatever. You know when they're doing that.
Cool.
And so like he's like, I'm putting on this fair tour, and then he's like, oh shit, it didn't work out. I go, what happened? He's like, they booked a TikTok star, and then he'll look into it. He goes, oh look, they did terrible. They didn't sell any tickets. And so I think a lot of times too, when that viral moment's happening too, all the industry runs to it, you know, and you're like, oh, I don't think they're ready yet. You know what I mean? And a lot of times that does happen, you know, or they sign somebody and maybe the first single is not a smash hit, and then that career's, I don't know. I feel like Slow Burn, like, you know, it's a Casey Musgrave song, you know, it's that Slow Burns, you will build a career for sure. If it's consistent and awesome and authentic, people will love it, you know.
Showing up, giving your best every day, and letting things kind of. I think what I've taken away is the people you're around, the circles you run in. If you're good and dedicated to your craft, you're bound to hit something at some point.
Yeah, and then one way to do it, I mean, even beyond the music business, is just create more value than you take. You know, you're creating value, then people just naturally want to be around you and work with you, because you know, most successful-minded people. If you work with great musicians and everything, the people that rise to the top are very win-win.
Sure.
And so it's not like I win, you create no value. It's sort of like they create value and you create value, and it's very much win-win. And so, it's that. Looking back and analyzing it, you know, when you're, it's almost like you don't want to be thinking that way when you're doing it. You just kind of got to go grind, and it just maybe happens accidentally.
Sure.
If you're that way naturally, you know.
It could be A through Z and it was F. That for some reason, that was the factor that, you know, you never know. You just got to keep working, man. Well, let me ask you this, because we're kind of beating around the bush here. So Jenny, your wife, she's on a TV show. Talk about her career. I think it'd be great to plug.
As of this recording, I don't know when this is coming out. Last night was the release of the show. It's called The Road.
Yeah, just came out. Have you seen the commercial for that?
I saw all the ads yesterday.
Okay, cool.
At the stadium.
Cool. Oh yeah,
and
that's right. That's why we were there, because they had the bus out there out front.
No way.
Yeah.
That's killer.
Yeah.
I'm like the lucky hubby that gets to hang out now.
Yeah, right.
I work my tail off.
You tell me I get to go to a
now
football
it's
game?
like it's bearing fruit, and I'm kind of like getting I get
So
some
talk
of these
about
perks,
it, man.
you know.
So like I'll just shut up, but talk about it. I'm just so curious to know what the show's all about and how it's going to end.
Well, the show, I tell you what, just from seeing it for the first time, it's beautifully put together. It's it's different, really cool. It's cinematic, and it captures the artist in a positive light, and it tells a real cool story. And these are like real stories, and so I feel like from an audience perspective, it's something that it's almost like an advertisement for each of the artists, and it's beautifully put together, and it's. The way you sell a career is by telling the story, right?
Sure.
And so the format of it is telling the story of these artists. It's not like gotcha drama, singing competition, pit against each other. It's really like, hey, these are all really great people. We're going to tell their story and put them in front of real audiences, and the audiences are going to pick like who has to lead.
So that's the competition.
That's the competition element, but it's less like any competition. Where the moment before the commercial break and who's going to let go. Sure. There's a little bit of that at the end of the first episode, but it's really more about telling this beautiful story.
How many episodes?
So cool. So I think there's going to be like 12.
Oh, that's a good season.
Yeah. Now I don't know. I'm not an expert on the show. I mean,
Sure.
Jenny's been great with her NDA stuff, and she's let me in on a few things.
Totally.
She's had to shush me from time to time and be like, "Oh yeah, that's right. They're doing this." I'm like, "Okay, sorry."
I was just excited.
I was just excited. Oh, man.
But for
cool.
Jenny, it's really cool. So Jenny, I met her, and I'll fast forward through this part of it. It was after the Brandy Clark thing. Went to LA. I was just back from 2 weeks out from like being nominated for the Grammys. It was a great year, great experience
for Brandy Clark.
For Brandy's 12 Stories record. Yeah,
cool.
That I basically financed. I think we had $10,000 from the manager, and I sold gear to pay for the rest of it. And,
wow.
And so it's kind of a self-financed independent record that was up against
really well.
the major categories.
Yeah.
Like New Artist of the Year, Country Album of the Year. I mean, these are like televised categories. So super proud, right? So that's amazing. And so get done with that, and we're back. And I met Jenny at the Doghouse on Demumbrian, and
oh wow,
just heard this voice, And I'll go back, and this is just cool stuff. This gets really long-winded, so reel me in if it's getting too long-winded. But the voice I had on my shoulder, which I've had many times, is Scott Gunter. You go back to Scott Gunter, right?
Mm-hmm.
I remember this one time we were at a show, and it was Alma Irving, and I'm hanging out drinking a beer, and it was just like really, really mediocre. And I was here about 3 years at that point, just going like, man, am I just like over this, or it's just really bad?
As in like hearing people sing and stuff?
It was just like the Nashville mid-level, down the middle kind of stuff. And we're at the Wild Horse, and I'm like, hey, Scott, man, is it just me, or is this the way, like, is this really great, or like, what do you do? Am I just getting kind of like saturated by this stuff? And and Scott just always had this, like, he'll like talk, and I can see his head ducking in my ear and going like, hey, And so what he told me that time that stuck, he goes, you know what? Yeah, it's really, most of it's going to go by you, and you're not going to give a shit about it. But every now and then something's going to bend your ear, and if they do, he said, you just help them out no matter what you have to gain.
Cool.
So if something moves you, you just make sure you try and help them out. Yeah. I'm like, okay. So you fast forward like 15 years, and going back to the moment I heard Jenny singing, and I never really applied that, but this was coming off the Grammys, and I thought, hey, I'm in a position now to, I'm kind of rolling. I got some leverage in the business and everything. I could help somebody out. So that's when that voice came in, and I heard this voice, and I was like, I'm going to walk up and say, hey. So I went up and said, hey, and her initial reaction was, thank you. Okay, who are you? I said, hey, well, I'm a big fan of your voice. Thank you. Shake your hand. Okay, cool. I'm a producer. And she's like, cool, awesome. That's great. We're in Nashville, you and everybody else.
Yeah.
And I never lead with, me. I'm just not like, hey, this is what I do, and this is what I've done.
Dropping names.
But I was like, I could tell I wasn't making any progress. And I go, I just really want to help, but I feel like I need context. I said, do you know Brandy Clark or Jared Neiman? She goes, yeah, Brandy Clark. That's like my favorite record of all time. I go,
and you did the record.
I produced that. She's like, shit. Follow me. Let me give you my card.
Yeah, that's cool. That's
and
cool.
So we got together and wrote one of the coolest songs ever, and it still hadn't released it, but it's really amazing song about the vantage point of from a sniper who's about to kill somebody, and it's who made you the enemy is kind of the idea, When Did God Make You the Enemy? It was like, wow, did we just write that first time out?
Deep,
And so
sure.
we kind of had this really great chemistry, and we just kept on writing, and that turned into like, well, we're not really making a record, but let's just keep on writing and
Sure.
making music and let that voice kind of evolve into this
Well,
artist's brand project, right? So
what year was that you guys met?
I'd say 2014, 15, 16 maybe,
Okay,
somewhere
cool.
around there.
Cool.
And so that was always a really special project. And then, about a year into our project, we kind of, it went from creative to like, in a relationship. And so we've been attached at the hip ever since. So I've made all of Jenny's records, and it's really interesting. I feel like she's one of those, she's just, moral center is so good, and she's such a good person, and she's not like the hey, look at me kind of artist. And I feel like that's a liability to a certain degree, but it's an asset in the long term. And I've always thought she just has this great message and this great viewpoint, and we just kept on writing and marketing. We even worked with you on something. We've tried so many different things, and it's almost like the music also was because I feel like we were doing what Lainey Wilson's kind of doing now. She has more, a little more fire in what she does, but it's the chords and the country and the little Beatle-esque throwback modern country things we were doing on the first record and all that stuff. And I feel like back then you had bro country and you had like
you just people too. Back
pop country.
2015, it was all bro country.
all bro country.
You know what I mean? Like
So it was
George line stuff.
It was always kind of ahead of the curve, and so and at some point she chose to cut her own path.
Sure.
The first record we did, I was able to just call in the John Markses and the Rolling Stones of the world, and really
different.
kind
It was different back then. The marketing was so different. Now it's, I don't know, every 6 months it changes now.
Yeah. Even I've kind of given up on that end of it because I'm like, I just want to produce. But back then you could, still relationships still kind of mattered. Yeah. John got her on a playlist, and Rolling Stone top 10. She was top 10 with Lainey Wilson on the next artist to watch type of thing. So so we did the record, and it really made a great push. She was Billboard top 25 on record sales, and the album release party was sold out City Winery show, and it was all kind of happening. And we had the opener for Brantley Gilbert. It was this huge rollout, and people were leaning in, and then COVID happened, right?
Yep.
And so everybody kind of affected differently from that, but that was just kind of like a
Sure.
The momentum just gets a little.
It's like
but now it feels like
getting going, and you got a flat tire. You're like, man.
But now the show.
Yeah. So all that to say, it's been an interesting journey because it was like a family business. Her folks were involved, and her dad's been in the industry, and he was able to get gigs here and there, and she had an agent, but it was really just all of us just kind of like contributing in our own way to get this going, and so. Grind. We get married, have a kid. She has to pause for a little bit.
Sure.
And it's almost like it's passing. The industry's passing up, and it's sort of like that COVID thing, because that story that she has, and that the story of the mom and everything, it just doesn't fit in necessarily with what a label wants to push or how they market with their infrastructure. Maybe I don't know, but for whatever reason, it's just so hard to get. Spotify's and the XMs, and you're like, it's just off. It's just off of what they're pushing, So the show comes, and it's the perfect opportunity, and it really just came to her out of nowhere. She was starting to talk to an independent label in December, January, and then actually last fall, and then this thing came out of nowhere. Her day-to-day manager, Carrie Lowecka, had submitted her. Through Blake Shelton's camp, because Carrie did tour management for Blake at some point and had those relationships. So she submitted Jenny, and this is like literally 2 years later. They go, "Hey, we're interested in maybe interviewing Jenny," and she's
2
like,
years.
"Wow, it's like a TV show." I'm like, "Okay." We kind of knew about this because another artist I produced had been in that conversation too, and so he told me about it. I was like, "Oh wow, that's interesting." Okay. Taylor Sheridan. I mean, wow, that's cool. That's really cool. And so Jenny knew about it, but then when she got the call, it was like, interesting, because it's not like most artists. We're not anti-show, but it's almost like, hey, you work so hard to create a brand. The last thing you want to do is go on a singing competition and them just kind of like
change your image and
So that was always the worry because she had the opportunities for like the USA show and she's been asked multiple times over the years. I don't know if she's ever got called for that, but
but what USA show? I'm sorry.
It was like country music, something, you know.
I think it can stamp you in a weird way if you don't do it correctly.
And so when you work that hard and you invest so much time, last thing you want to do is just go the easy route. Not the easy route, but just jump ship, right? So there was always that resistance. So Jenny's not like she's tried out for every show kind of girl. It was a big decision for her because even me, honestly, I tell her this. I go, it's not because of me, because I was kind of cautious. And I was sort of like, okay, babe, whatever you think.
Sure.
And it came down to it. She had follow-up interview, and then the psych eval, and then it's all this stuff. And she made it through the process, and she's I think Jenny interviews like you should have Jenny on here. She's a great interviewer. So she made it through and went to the callbacks, and it was like, all right, it kind of came out of nowhere, and the indie label conversation kind of faded away as this kind of took, and then before you know it, she was on the road, and I was a single dad for that whole period because it was like the whole time.
Sure.
And then,
so what are they going from town to town or something?
I don't know if I can disclose that.
Sure, but they're traveling.
Yeah, they're traveling, and cool. So the filming's all done at this point. And,
that's cool.
I guess I have no affiliation with the show, so I can tell you what I've seen from the commercials, and I haven't watched it yet. I just don't want you to be in a situation where you say something.
I might have said too much.
Essentially, it's from what I've seen, it's like less of the talent competition style thing and more of like a documentarian storyteller thing about like what happens when these artists get put and having to do it every night and at different shows. And
gotcha.
That's what I mean, you could tell me if I
what the beautiful thing is the storyline is just it's put into like if you haven't seen the show, it's like at least the first episode. I don't know how they're going to edit the rest of it, but it's like the music comes on. It's all original music, right? So
cool.
It's not covers. They did one cover.
Which I find that way cooler.
And I know Taylor Sheridan, from what Jenny was saying, was a huge advocate of the originals. Covers where he wanted to build something that was based on,
because the voice is all covers.
So it's originals, and the way they weave it in, it's a cool, like the music is a great, just like a backdrop and a soundtrack to the story that they edit together. And it's not like you sit and watch the artists sing and judge them. The song starts and the storyline starts, and the music's in there, and so it's a fantastically put together.
That's awesome.
Show.
Well, congrats to both
couldn't
you
be
guys.
more proud. I mean, it's just like, wow, she made the decision, and it turned out to be great.
Sure.
And going back to all that context about her, it's the perfect way for her story to be told that I think the Nashville industry probably missed, because it just wasn't cool to be talking about being a mom and everything.
Mm-hmm, sure.
It's becoming a little more fashionable. You hear it in different things, but she's been fighting that fight for a while. I mean, the mom and being on the road and everything.
The Nashville music road industry has just always been funny to me, because it's always like, I don't know. Now it's about social media and what's your look. It's just it's not really it's not my thing. You know what I mean? So I think that's awesome. So
yeah. And I feel like I just see it. I mean, me too. We're all part of it. We're just more like niche camps of people that maybe connect a little bit.
Sure.
I mean, it used to be a little bit more like just kind of weaved community where people were everybody kind of had a shared music industry experience, and now it's very much like you got these different camps.
Yeah, they're all over the place.
And by the time you try and get involved with someone, they've already kind of got their kind of like a golden goose, kind of sheltered and everything. And
sure.
It does feel like we're all on islands sometimes. Like all, the modern music industry, like, oh, you do this with these people, and you're over here, and I do this. It's always so nice when you get to, sail over to someone else's island and talk to them for a little bit.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it is cool because, what's that? Those jokes of like going home for Thanksgiving, like, so you play music, like an aunt, and you're like, oh my God, I have to explain this.
Yeah.
And so it's nice when other people, because technically we're like coworkers, we don't go to the same office every day. But we get to relate, and it's nice to be like, "Hey, man, come work with us over here." And then it just feels good, when you're collaborating, with people you don't usually work with. So
yeah,
that's why I love the St. Augustine one. go down there like, dude, I remember you, and just then you see him around town, and it's cool.
Or it's usually like, oh yeah, last year we talked about getting together for breakfast. Let's do that this year. Let's for sure.
That's actually
down the books 3 years from now. Yeah, we'll do this again.
The halfway the hazard guy. What's his name?
Detox.
Yeah. He said that to me. We severed. I was like, yeah, we did. They're like, but we didn't do it.
I do that at the CSAC Awards every year too. Those are coming up. I mean, like 5 years in a row now. I see the same guys I only saw at the CSAC Awards. I'm like, man, I swear I'm going to reach out this time.
I'll respond.
It didn't happen. Even set reminders.
Yeah.
Hey, remind me to reach out to so and so on Tuesday.
That's fun,
like,
man.
Same time, same place again next year. Yeah, see you there.
All right, brother. See you, man. Well, hey, we still got some time. I ask something a little different then. Is there an artist or project you're working on now that you can talk about that you're stoked about?
Oh man, I have this conversation a lot recently. I go, it's really funny. Like, it's the family thing, right? You go back to your parents' house or whatever. People are like, what are you doing? I'm like, man, I don't know. I'm so busy.
Yeah.
But it's like nothing. I'm not a hype man, so I don't really hype things. I just kind of work on it, and then, So I'm working on a bunch of things that mean nothing to anybody right now. But usually it's like 3 or 4 years down the road where people go like, oh, you did that?
Sure.
It's what I've learned over the course of time. So I've learned just to kind of like, I mean, it's not that I'm not excited about it, but I just go work on it.
There's a lot of time between the payoff and where you're at now. Yeah.
I guess, it's just like being a songwriter. You write a song and your parents have no idea. What you get a song? You sell a song yet? No.
You famous?
Yeah. No. But as soon as you get like a big Morgan Wallen single, they're like, oh,
Totally.
wow, congratulations. That's what you're doing.
Totally. For sure.
Yeah, that was like 6 years ago we wrote that.
Yeah.
So the people I'm working with now are, we just did the Cliff Cody record.
Oh, yeah. Sounds great.
Cliff is fantastic.
Drinking in Spanish.
With Arliss. Arliss actually brought that. It was really meant to be a singer-songwriter record because we all love Cody. I mean, he's just, he was in Nashville for a long time, wrote at the EMI, I think, and was doing the Nashville thing. And then I think he just kind of went down to Key West and said, F it.
Sure.
And kind of planted his roots down there. And
when he got on stage, man, people were waiting for him. You know what I mean? So he's got a nice following down there.
Yeah, he's just like a grinder, and he's ground out this great audience and the sound and the story. And so when Arliss was like, "Hey, you want to work on this Cliff record with me?" I thought it was going to be a guitar vocal record.
Sure.
And so I'm like, "Cool, yeah. I mean, just find the songs, and And so Cliff came to Nashville to do pre-production, and I was like, I don't, man. To me, it's not about recording this record. I think it's about the story. It's your story. And I was in a pre-production meeting with Arliss. I said, ideally, you'd go record this at Jimmy Buffett's studio and use Key West musicians. And
it's the last album that was out of there, right?
Yeah. So Arliss, he knows everybody. He's sort of like, let me call somebody. And so Arliss made the phone call, and it was expensive, but it was worth it because if you're going to put the budget into a record, to me, it's about Cliff specifically creating that story and doing it spiritually, creatively surrounding the record too. So you're talking about it from that standpoint. And so to me, that was, I was like, all right, did my job as a producer, go make it happen.
Yeah. That's fun.
I did my magic.
We just got to record a thing down there at Buffett's. Cool, easy. Yeah. Well, it wasn't that easy actually, because we went down there and Cliff was doing that thing, and we had this audience and had a great idea. We all came up with the idea that, man, what if you sold, because you're in Key West, you have all these buddies with yachts and stuff like that, friends that support you that have money. I mean, why don't you sell like VIP seats to the studio and help offset the cost of the studio?
Smart. Did you guys do that?
Yeah.
Oh, that's smart.
Cliff
that's
and his wonderful girlfriend Elizabeth, she kind of like
set it up,
and they got like I think 12 people to come out and pay like $1,500 a piece.
And like was like a dinner type thing maybe, or
no,
just
it was 3 days in the studio, and they just come
wow.
Frank Sinatra whiskey and drinks, and
that's awesome.
They got to watch Cliff sing and play, and so that was really cool. But around halfway through day 2 of 3, because Cliff was like, "Man, I want drums on this and everything." And if you know Cliff, I mean, we call him the Russian Dragon, right? Because he his chorus is slow down, and his verses speed up, and so I'm like, there's no way we're gonna have drums on this, and there's no way you can really do that much with this. And so I said, let me play on one. Okay, so I kind of got the click going, and I played guitar in the studio, and Cliff was singing. He's like, man, that turned out really great. I'm like, well, let's do another one like that. And then that kind of, out of that moment, turned into a bigger, I guess, project. And that was from, now all of a sudden I can go cut drums and do all the stuff to make it kind of more of an album. Because he really wanted it to be like a Jerry Jeff Walker kind of thing. And I'd listen to Jerry Jeff Walker and, Ray Wiley Hubbard and Jimmy Buffett. I was just kind of getting what that world was. And so I really wanted to capture that for him. And so once we got that done, I was able to come back to Nashville and just kind of build it. Yeah. Just constantly listening to, Jerry Jeff and just going like, what's the spirit of this thing? And there's more parts in his record, Cliff is more like a singer-songwriter. It's like it's his expression. And I'm like listening to that old stuff and going, well, there's so many specific little parts. It's kind of like Creedence, just so many parts, you don't think of country music as having, but all that stuff had like really specific parts.
Totally.
And so just dug in to create parts for the record. And,
that's awesome.
How did the audience feel about when you had to get into the nitty gritty, the editing and all that?
They weren't there for that.
I was gonna say how many people got up and left when you started going?
We knew that wasn't the case.
That's
I mean, it was cool. Like all the tambourines you hear on there, I'd grab an old tambourine. And it says, Jimmy Buffett. This concert, this date, and I'm like, cool.
Did they sell it?
I don't know exactly the details, but I think it's no longer functioning as a studio. So we were the last full album to record there. I think maybe somebody had a single out of there, but it was the last full album.
That's killer.
Super special, because Cliff. We all know Cliff. I mean, it's not like major label, world-changing stuff, but it's really cool from a creative standpoint to have kind of like that niche down there. I feel like the Key West thing, I feel like it's like you got a small key to the city because of that project and Cliff. And so like, hey, we can go down there. I know the town, and it's a cool, piece of history possibly if we can get this to be meaningful down there.
Totally. Well, I think the last Ingredients time, a song could be really good. No one heard it. It's still new, so it doesn't have to. And every artist like, it needs to take off. I do it all the time. Hey,
I'll remind you that.
yeah, please.
I'm doing Tyler's record right now.
But what I'm
cool.
You did. Yeah, we got a cool new Elvis Presley cover we're gonna do. It sounds awesome, but
what song?
Can't help.
Can't help falling in love.
Okay, cool.
Very different arrangement.
Very Charlie Puthie. It's like very
Did
pop.
I hear it? I wonder if you sent that. I feel like I might have heard that.
I might have sent like a little video clip.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is, every time a single drops, and I do all the time, like, hey, here's a single, get it going. I'm like, it's gonna get there. We're gonna build it. It doesn't have to always be the first week your song goes number one. That's a really good song can pop off at the right time. So anyway, I'm just saying with that album, I'm sure it might take a year or two, and all of a sudden you're like, I fucking love that album. You know what I mean? So
yeah, it's got not a shelf life. It's just like it's there.
Yeah, it's there.
It has a great sound. Cliff sounds great. The songs are great. It's like a soundtrack to Key West and maybe Texas-y, but
sure,
it's really cool.
I used to manage Driving and Crying for like a couple years.
Okay,
they're big hits from '89. You know what I mean? Everyone listens to Straight to Hell no matter what. They got tons of albums, but everyone's like, I like that Fly Me Courageous and Straight to Hell song. So it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? So but it's so tough in this town. Everyone's like, I got my new song, and the artist always cares about their new one. You know what I mean? When it's like, hey man, that was really good back then. He didn't even, no one knows about that song. So
So really, I even tell Jenny all the time. I'm like, there's like stuff people haven't heard. Are you putting money behind like 6 years ago, like that single? It's really cool. It reacts really well, and it's hard to, because then you're compounding marketing money into an old catalog, which is not ideal, but you're right though. It's like nobody's heard those songs.
Well, not to toot my own horn, but it was a good example. We figured out how to, when Cliff's thinking about doing it, where we can trend a song on Instagram, and we know how to strategically post the sound where it'll get hundreds of thousands of views to millions, and then it goes like top 50 in the world. My song did it 2 days ago. It's from 2018. You know what I mean?
Wow. Okay.
So that's almost 10 years. So it does. If it's good, it's good. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be your brand new one. You know. So anyway, that's just my 2 cents on it.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I mean, you know a lot about that world. You've been that Rubik's Cube. You've been changing one side white and the other side, blue.
Yeah. Every other month they change the colors on them too.
Yeah.
Overnight, they're changing the stickers.
We're doing stuff with Tommy Manuel, and it's vector management. And they're like, what is this? Like, even they're like, what? Everything changes. And a lot of times people eventually now, because digital marketing is becoming easy for you to do it on your own, right? And so you kind of might have your own kind of method and it's working well, but there's always that one like, hey, what's the new thing that's popping off? And, everyone wants to go viral, and so like, how do you do it? In my opinion, Wolfpack, remember that band?
Yeah, I love Wolfpack.
So years ago, they had an album called Sleepify, and so it was like nothing, and they spun it. They spun it overnight. They made money from it to go tour, but what they saw, and then Spotify saw it. This is what always happens. It was something when you start kind of music hacking the industry with social media. They usually stop it because what they notice is when you spun your song overnight on a device, it turned on like Discover Weekly and radio and stuff. And so all of a sudden they're like, oh, we got to stop that. And so, this when they see something take off, then the gatekeepers always screw it. They're like, oh, then you're like, all right, cool. We got to figure out how to do it again another time, It's wild, right?
Yeah.
But back then, I remember bands all the time in college were spinning their device at night on their laptop, and all of a sudden, oh my God, dude, I just heard it on Discover Weekly. It was just, it changes every 6 months. The music marketing's nuts,
Yeah.
So anyway. I could talk that shit all day.
Yeah, it's interesting.
It is, man, and it's unfortunate. You got to wear all the hats these days, and you got to spend 10 times more than you did on the record, to hopefully maybe something happened. It doesn't make sense because they devalued music, man. Like YouTube, everyone it's the biggest. It's becoming this. It's the second biggest one now because you don't have to log into it. Anyone can go to it. But now people don't buy records. They go, I'll just listen to you on YouTube or Spotify, and then they did the family deal where I'm sure you heard of that, where it's like the family package for Spotify, and they all did it. They all followed suit. And my opinion is because when a company becomes publicly traded, they gotta show money to their investors every quarter. So how do we not spend the money to the, what I mean? So the artists always get screwed. You know what I mean? And so, I used to make $1,200 when I was living in Hollywood in 2019. I thought I was the shit because I was like, didn't have a job and we're running ads on playlists and I was getting money from it and I was paying my rent. And I was like, oh dude, I can just make more money and I don't have to worry about my rent. And then all of a sudden they did the family plan and now it was like going from $1,200 to like $200.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that crazy? They just completely devalued music, So then, you're dumping all this money in, and people always say, "Well, what's my ROI?" And you're like, "Well, I don't know. I can't really tell you." So it's really shitty. You make money from touring and maybe merch.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
anyway, whatever.
Shout out the road.
Yeah, yeah. There you go.
That's a huge game changer. I mean,
well, the power of TV is huge.
It still has that, and it's a certain demographic too. It's like
it does.
I would think it's a little older demographic that
I kind of feel
has the money to spend on merch. It's like
I kind of feel it's more Midwest TV. Like Kansas or St. Louis or something. They go, oh my God,
Yeah.
The reason I say that is when I did those American Idol, what I was talking before this, he killed it in the Midwest, not over here. You know what I mean? It'd be like 2,000 people a night, and I was like, huh? And I was like, and it was the same people following it from like Iowa to, I was like, what? And they're like, well, we've been watching him since he was on American Idol. I was like, interesting,
Yeah.
The power of TV is still huge, So
yeah, especially after Sunday Night Football is the time slot. So
totally.
They say it's that slot after the football game is probably the best time slot on TV because everybody watches the game and leaves it on, and comes across your living room. And so it's really, it's like a viral TikTok that's legitimized by some really amazing brands, right?
Yeah.
It's like 28, I think that's the number I heard thrown around. The first night was 28 million viewers.
Wow. That's insane.
So then you throw in CBS, Paramount, Keith, Keith Urban, Blake Shelton, Gretchen Wilson, Taylor Sheridan. It's not just a viral TikTok. It's a legitimate
household
viral kind of like, I call them earballs, There's a lot of earballs that are exposed to.
Well, I don't think they've ever had a show like that format. So it's very unique. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so.
and you see, well, it remains to be seen what the fallout is, but I feel like should be, at worst, it's an amazing, impression.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah, totally, for sure, man. Well, is Jenny going on tour? Are you guys going to do that? You got the kid, so.
Yeah, she just had her festival up in Jackson Hole, the Cowgirls at the Cowboy.
Cool.
Fourth year. I mean, Ella Langley headlined it. She puts together, works with a talent buyer up there, and they lean on her to kind of like filter out the artist, and it's a collective decision, but it's her festival. She had May Estes up there, and then the first night is a writer's night. She had Tranny Anderson and Willow Avalon. It was an awesome show. It's probably the only night of the year that you'll hear a needle drop in the Cowboy Bar.
Yeah.
Sure.
Everybody listens that night.
That's
the other
cool.
nights it's a honky tonk. Every other night,
I played a lot of pool up there.
Yeah, it's right down there.
Yeah.
It gets really quiet. You can hear the bathroom hand dryers during that show. It's kind of crazy.
That's cool.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever heard the hand dryers in the bar.
So, the second night, Jenny opens full. It's co-headlining, but she is the host, so she opens the night full band, and then May Estes played full band, and then the last night I'd do an acoustic thing, 20-minute show, and then Ella came out, and she was fantastic.
That's cool.
Fantastic. Fourth year. Previous headliners were Carly Pierce, the year she won.
Wow.
CMA, ACM vocalist. Then she had, she was on American Idol. Elena. Lauren Elena. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Burnett.
Yeah, I should know her name. I always it's like this Tourette's thing in my mind. And then last year was Ashley McBride. So the festival is super
awesome.
legit. It's at the Cowboy. The first 3 years it was covered by CMT, Hot 20, and this year they had a really great PBS crew out there, basically documenting the whole festival and the whole history of the Cowboy Bar and everything.
That's awesome.
You said it was recently, right? That was within
a week ago.
Beautiful time of year. Beautiful time of year up there to do it.
Oh yeah. It snowed on the mountains, and it was amazing.
Those Tetons are awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So really cool. The festival's really cool, and then the goal obviously is agents getting involved and booking stuff for next year.
Sure.
And the band's ready to go. We got a great band, and stuff should be lined up. All we got to do is find a road nanny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the hard part.
Well, man, we got a couple more minutes. Is there anything you want to plug? Anything?
Not really. Arliss. So we plug Arliss. I mean, Arliss he's just a great friend and a great friend to a lot of people. And I mean, Arliss is great.
How can people find you?
Boone Whiskey.
Boone's Bourbon.
Boone's Bourbon. Yeah.
Boone's Farm. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay.
Like, how can people find you, man? Like, you got a website?
I'm really hard to find. I do have a website. It's decibelnashville.com.
Cool.
But I haven't updated it for a while.
That's okay.
I'm not on social media.
That's actually awesome.
Yeah, it's really interesting. All my family and friends back home, they spot me through Jenny's social media.
Sure. That's funny.
And, he'll find you. If he wants
I'll find you, brother.
Don't find me.
I'm kind of old
you.
school. The problem is, like, my friends, I mean, I'll call them and I'll be like, I'm like, what you been up to? Like, oh yeah, we were just in Jackson Hole, and they're like, yeah, I saw that on Jenny's socials. I'm like,
nice.
Okay, well, yeah, we, Bear's been doing this. So, like, I saw that on Jenny's socials.
That's cool.
I'm like, all right, well, nice conversation.
Yeah,
that's
looks like I don't need socials. Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. I've been off for a long time, so.
That's probably the healthiest thing, man.
Plugging. I just read Jenny's new record that we're working on. Sawyer Firkins is a cool project. Just a really cool acoustic-y kind of thing, but his energy is a full production. His vocals are full. They're great. Callie McCullough just came out. Callie's great. She's a Canadian artist. Sounds like Dolly. I mean, her voice is just this fantastic. Soprano kind of like who's sang Webster's? Oh gosh, Alison Krauss. Very Alison Krauss vocal with a little bit of kind of Dolly flit in her voice.
Quite the compliment, those two.
Yeah, I mean, she's fantastic. So that record is coming out this next week. John Wolfe, his record is coming out. Actually, tomorrow is his video debut. It's really great. This is one more cool little story.
Sure.
So check this out. So I do this record on John. It's mostly done, and he does this amazing video. Right? Have you heard of Uncle Laser?
Yeah, that dude.
Comedian, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so he's friends with Uncle Laser.
That's cool.
I've never seen Uncle Laser. Right?
He's funny.
Never seen him, right? So John's like, man, check this video out. We're gonna get Uncle Laser down there, and so I watched the video. I'm like, oh, it's really good. It's really good, and I'm just kind of like, cool. That's awesome, man. So literally, like last Monday, coming back from Jackson Hole, we lay over in Salt Lake City. I'm in the bathroom in Salt Lake City, and I see
Uncle Laser.
Kind of like I saw him, like interesting, and like that's got to be him, right? I'm like finishing up the urinal, and I kind of under my breath go, Laser,
Mr. Laser,
low enough that
Mr. Laser,
low enough that if it wasn't him, he wouldn't have responded. Totally. He goes, "Hey, what's up, man?" I go, like, I only know you through John Wolf's video. Like I produced his record.
Oh wow!
And he goes, "Oh, dude, man, what's up?" It was like,
that's cool.
The bathroom at Salt Lake City Airport. Wild, right? And so he'll be there tomorrow at the Odie's is where the album, where the video release party is.
Heck yeah.
So if you're around, 2 to 4 is the party.
Yeah, man.
And Laser will be there, but that's crazy, isn't it? Like, the more you think about it, you're like,
small
in the world?
I love
this bathroom.
I love those kind of stories. Like, dude, how the hell did we, Salt Lake bathroom? Like, that's crazy. That's awesome.
So, yeah.
Well, dude, man. Well, thanks for coming. We'd love to have Jenny on.
Shoot, man. Let me put a bug in her ear, and that'd be fun. That'd be fun for you guys. Just a different
we love
female
doing it, man.
Spirit, right?
Yeah.
We've done like, I don't know, man, 20 episodes.
It's been a lot.
Yeah, we've been doing it, man. It's fun. I will say this, talking about marketing, everyone should do a podcast. Put on YouTube. We're nothing special. All we do is post all the time. It's like 108,000 subscribers.
Wow.
Only because we post. I post like crazy.
I don't do anything.
Yeah.
Sit here and it's all Tyler.
You're the color commentary.
Yeah. He is actually.
Here's the guy.
Yeah. I love it. No, Ryan saves it, man, all the time with good stuff. But no, we just post YouTube shorts, man. That's it. And it just goes nuts. And then I'm about to monetize it too in November. I should.
Oh, cool.
And so that'll be sick. And then I'm getting the plaque here soon. So, but I'm just saying, it's look at any comedian. I think they get big now because they do podcasts, and then all of a sudden, I go see this guy,
Yep.
So I love it, man. But dude, this will come out later this week. So thanks so much for coming, man.
Yeah, thank you. There's so much more to talk about. I thought we'd get into the geeky stuff, studio stuff.
Dude, let's do it again. I'm having artists come again soon too.
We can close this down and we can get into all that
the nerdy stuff. Yeah.
Word. Well, thanks, man. Cheers.
Woo.
Cool. Nice, man. They're playing it. Is that Odie's tomorrow? They're just doing a video thing.
It's just a video.